Hi students, it's Mix There here. Welcome to lesson 4, talking about money and debts. So pause here if you'd like to read more in depth about your learning goals and learning targets. Pause here if you would like to read more about the standards that we are building on, addressing, and building towards. And then go ahead and pause here and get your journal page set up. So this is where you'll have your title, standard, learning target, and the date. And don't forget to glue in your note strip. And let's get going. So first thing we're going to talk about is how to use signed numbers to discuss money. And typically, we discuss money only as positive numbers. But if we go into debt, meaning that we have spent more money than we have, then we have to either name that separately as a debt, or we can use the idea where a negative amount of money is money owed or is a debt. So we often refer to that as being in the red if we have spent more money than we have, or we owe more money than we have. We can also think of the additive inverse, that term that you learned in the last lesson. The additive inverse of a debt is the amount of money needed in order to pay it off and get your balance back to zero. So say that I owe $200 on my student loans. That would mean I would have to pay $200 to get my account balance to zero. So additive inverse comes up a lot in money. We'll also think about deposits, which is money that you have or that you are adding to your bank account. So many of us don't have bank accounts, but maybe you have like a change jar or a piggy bank of sorts, or somewhere where you keep money that you earn. Anytime you put money into that, we refer to that as a deposit. You are adding positives. And then we can talk about withdrawals. Anytime you are taking money out of a bank account, we refer to that as withdrawals. And we can use that as a negative number. You are adding a negative every time you remove money. If you overdraw, that means that you have spent more than what you have in your bank, whether that's a physical bank again or just a place where you keep your money. So an overdraw is when you have spent more than you have, and that will also show up as a negative money. You will be in the red. Dun, dun, dun. So there are many ways where we can compute sums of money in different combinations. One combination is adding numbers with the same sign. So remember, signs are either a positive number or a negative number. So adding numbers with the same sign, you might say, I have $4, or I deposited $4 and then I added another $10 deposit. I now have $14. Or you could say I withdrew $4 and then I had to withdraw $10 more. In total, I withdrew 14. So negative 14. You can also add numbers with opposite signs. So here's a positive added to a negative. We would say maybe I deposited $4, but then, oops, I forgot that I owed someone money, so then I had to withdraw 10. So that was two transactions, a transaction of a positive, and then you added a transaction of a negative. So what was left was $6. 4 plus negative 10 equals a positive 6. We can also add opposites to make 0. Again, here's that additive inverse. Say you want a credit card balance to be 0. So I deposited $4, but then I added a withdraw of $4. So I had to add a negative. This would just mean you have $0. So remember, adding opposite will always make a 0. And then we can also use subtraction as adding the additive inverse. So again, that additive inverse, that opposite number. So here's an example where we have 14 minus a positive 5. So 14 subtract 5 is 9. But we can also turn that into an addition problem by adding the additive inverse of positive 5. So the additive inverse of positive 5 is negative 5. And so 14 minus 5 has the same value as 14 plus negative 5. So it's be like I have $14 minus the 5 I owe my friend. I have $9. And this would say I have $14, but then I added a withdrawal of $5. So I still have $9. We wanted you all to see an example of a bank account. Here, let me move me so you can see this fully. So in bank accounts, what you will see here is we have the date, and here's the description of where any of these transactions happened. And it will also show you what was gained and what was lost. And so we would have in one section our withdrawals. So here's all the money that was taken out, and the deposits. Here's all the money that was put in. And then in this last column, we'll have our balance. And so what the balance is showing is what we have left over after each transaction. So we had $39.87, but then we withdrew $28.50. So you could think of that as a negative $28.50. Sometimes all of these numbers are going to be written from withdrawals and deposits as positives, but in two different columns. And what that means is that in order to find the balance, we have to know that we need to subtract a withdrawal or add a negative to get our final balance. And look right here, our final balance, negative $62.47. Oops, we overdrew. It happens. Okay, let me escape here and move on to a you try it. So what I want you all to do is you're going to pause this video and write out a scenario for each of the expressions below. Tell me how much money you have left or how much debt you got into. Go ahead and pause. Be creative. It's more fun. All right, welcome back. Here's some examples of what yours might look like. You might say that, for example, I had $10 and then I made $15 babysitting and then I spent $20 on lunch with my friends. So 10 plus 15 plus negative 20, I still have $5 left over. Or you might say, I had no money, but then I earned $25 mowing lawns. I tried to buy a sweater for $35, but I was short by 10. So I was negative 10. That could be any number of things. These are just some examples. Let's try, oh, that's it. Okay. So what's next is this tricky eye test. But really your next step is to go grab your journal problems and remember to tape them in and get them done. And then you do your reflection and your proficiency check. Huzzah!